Hey everybody, it's April Henry. I'm back again for another Facebook Live. I'll be doing them um, at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as long as I have stuff to talk about. You can see previous ones on my website, aprilhenry.com, as well as my YouTube channel, which is also called April Henry. Um, Today's shirt is from a brand that no longer exists called Yellow Man. Um, and it is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu wrestling rash guard. I have gotten to the point now where I don't remember words for things that don't happen in my life anymore. So today I'm going to be talking about dialogue. So here are some examples of people ordering at a diner. I shall have a cup of tea, black, and a small salad. No tomatoes, as tomatoes upset my digestion. Give me pie and coffee, sweetie. Got any lemon meringue? The diet plate with the one with the cottage cheese and a pear half and a tea with lemon and oh hell, and a banana split. I don't suppose you have any pie that is really home baked. Is the chicken free range? Is the zucchini organically grown? Don't you know? So dialogue is an essential part of our story. Through dialogue, we learn about characters' personalities, we see them react to events, and we understand the relationships that they have with each other. Dialogue allows us to visualize scenes, and authors use dialogue when they want to show, don't tell. So one of the first problems we can have in dialogue is simply confusion, where it goes back and forth with the characters saying things. Like John and Tom walk into a restaurant and sit down. Do you know what you want? Not really. I'm hungry enough to eat a horse. You're in luck. Horse meat is on the menu. You're kidding, right? Nope. Look at the back under chef's specials. You're right. That's gross. Not really. It's pretty good, actually. See, at that point, I have no idea who's talking. I mean, obviously, it's a back and forth between John and Tom, but it is hard for us to tell who's talking. And there's a very simple solution. Just label the speakers occasionally, either through a dialogue tag, like John said, or showing John picking up his fork and then having a sentence after it. So I, in general, try and have an attribution as to who is saying what every 3 lines of dialogue, every 3 exchanges, at least one. And but do not use adverbs on your dialogue tags. Your reader should be able to tell how something is being said. Get in the submarine right now. Rose Ellen said bossily. Don't do that. Don't have those words ending in ly. It usually it's just too much showing. So you don't want to be constantly using other words than said, like whined, snapped, ordered, bellowed. Some teachers are actually telling their students that said is dead, and I totally disagree. Said is not dead. It is a nice neutral word that you don't see. It's see-through. And you authors that are using a lot of words that aren't said, it's drawing more attention to the author than it is to what the character is saying. So a second problem is, what are the characters doing while they are talking? Uh, it is boring if they're just exchanging words, and it also doesn't add anything. So one solution from Elizabeth George, a mystery author, is to use a THAD. That's what she calls it, a talking head avoidance device. Have the characters be doing something while they're talking. She has a huge list in her book, but some of them are mixing drinks, feeding a pet or a child, training a dog, editing a film, killing ants, grooming a horse, doing laundry or dishes, making cookies, robbing a liquor store, learning how to ski, washing windows. A fad allows us to know more about the character by the way they're doing these things that they're doing together. Actions also show emotion. Here's 2 different people saying the same thing. Did you know him long? I asked. She stirred a drink and stared into it. Too long and not long enough. Did you know him long? I asked. She knocked back her drink and slammed the empty glass down on the table. Too long and not long enough. See how the actions can help add to the dialogue and give us more information about what's going on. The third problem that you can see in dialogue is that we don't know where it's happening. It's like people are having this conversation, but you don't see the world around them. Events happen someplace. It has an environment. There's sights, there's sounds, there's other people. Um, the environment also can include thoughts and memories. So it's basically anything that affects the character's words and actions or part of the environment. So provide one. Um, uh, Show where they are, show what's going on around them, show their reactions to it, show how it evokes thoughts and memories in them. And another thing problem you can have with dialogue, a fourth problem, is what they call, as you know, Bob dialogue. Um, I recently gave up on a historical mystery I had been sent as a reviewer, and it had this use of dialogue between two people who both worked for the Queen. One said to the other one, "Our Lady Queen's past 50 and heirs out of the question, so the marriage game won't keep France and Spain at bay any longer. They want Mary of Scots on the throne and England back in their Catholic pockets." Well, don't you think they both already knew that? The only reason one character said it to another is so the author could inform the reader. Um, I think it's better in that case just to handle it through narrative rather than have the characters say things to each other that both of them know. That's why they call it, as you know, Bob dialogue. You know, as you know, Bob, I've been married to my wife for 30 years. As you know, Bob, we've both worked here at this plant for 22 years. Their characters don't say those things to each other because they both know them. Um, uh, Sometimes when we're thinking about dialogue too, also doesn't have to be word perfect. It does not have to be exactly like our dialogue. Even if you transcribe everything I'm saying here, there's a lot of ums and ahs, there's a lot of pauses, there's run-on sentences. It's kind of hard to tell where a sentence begins and ends. You're doing your best approximation of it. Um, uh, so I would want you make it appear real, but it doesn't have to be real. One thing that I do is to read my dialogue aloud and try and think of myself as the character and see if it sounds like something they would say. I often see dialogue that clearly is more like what we think someone should say, but is not really what they would say. It's kind of too fancy and uses maybe a bigger vocabulary than I believe this character would use. Like doesn't it's more like how we wished we talked. Let's see. Be careful with accents. If you throw in a lot of accents, they can come across stilted and fake. So the best way to look at doing an accent for our characters from another country is to look at how they might use their words in a different order. So um, the structure of their sentences might be different. I mean, if you look at a really extreme example, look at how Yoda in Star Wars speaks. Go to him, you will. I mean, a simple change in the sentence structure makes it clear that he is a foreigner. Um, so I am always looking for ways to make my dialogue seem natural, convey information, but not something that both characters already know, and to show something about the relationships between the characters, the relationship with themselves. And let's see, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about voice. And again, you can find more of my videos at aprilhenry.com under write. And you'll also find writing exercises there. In fact, if you write anything based on a writing exercise on my page, or you write anything based on the prompts that I've been putting on Facebook with images and words that you need to use in your sample, send it to me and I will put it up at aprilhenry.com. I have a couple more I still need to put up there, but people have been contributing and I really appreciate it. So until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you guys have a great day and stay safe.